EDC back again with another knife video. This is the Artisan Cutlery Proponent. This used to be called the Fulcrum. I think they had an issue with trademark or something on the knife, and so they ended up having to change the name from the Fulcrum to the Proponent, but now it's the Proponent. This is a Dirk Pinkerton design. Actually a pretty cool design, cool looking design. This was originally released in a titanium version. It's about $212 or so. This is the brass version. There's also a copper version out there, although I'm not sure if Smoky Mountain is going to make the copper one. But the copper one and the brass one are both exclusives, I believe, to Smoky Mountain Knife Works. In any event, I believe these are available. The brass ones, they're $60, which is an excellent price. I'll get that right out of the way first for a knife like this. But before we get started, let's go ahead and do some size comparisons, because this is one hell of a big knife. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yep, it's big. Just so you can get an idea of how big, Benchmade Bugout, Benchmade 940, Spyderco Para 3, Spyderco PM2, and Terrio Rat 1, and let's do a Spyderco Shaman. So you can see, size-wise, it's still a little bit longer than the Shaman, but really it's that height that gives it the big difference. And let's do one more of a large, large knife, just to show you how big it is. This is the XM24. And in case you're wondering how that stacks up to an XM18, yeah, so it's a biggin. All right, let's take a look at what makes this knife tick. So this is D2, the titanium one. By the way, I did cut myself. Job hazard for a knife reviewer. But this is D2. This is brass, as I said before. It is on bearings, I believe. Yeah, I think it's on bearings, although I haven't opened it up. If I'm wrong on that, one of you guys could correct me. The reason I believe it's on bearings is because the action is so smooth, but I don't hear any, I don't hear any bearings here. It just feels like it's on bearings. That being said, one of the reasons the action is so smooth is because this blade is one big mofo. It's heavy as hell. All right, let's talk about the knife though. So this is brass. This does patina a little bit, and it will get change color over time. As you can see, it's starting to patina a little bit already. The copper one also will patina. The copper and brass ones are about the same weight, which was a little curious to me. At least I listed it the same weight. I haven't held the copper one. It's a little curious to me because copper is a little bit heavier than brass. It must be that the scales are milled or relieved somehow of some of the weight, but they're both about 15 ounces, a little under 15 ounces. So it's really a brick. The titanium one, I believe, comes in around 11 or 12 ounces, so it is significantly lighter than this version, but it's still a lot more. Like I said, that was $212 for the original version. This is only $60. $60 is an excellent price for this huge chunk of D2 steel and this huge chunk of, or two chunks, because it's sandwich construction, of these brass pieces. Plus there is milled out stainless steel liners. I don't know if you can see the milling. See if you can see it. I think it's showing up on there. So the stainless steel liners are milled out. This would be even heavier if it wasn't for that fact. It's possible that the stainless steel is milled out a little bit more on the copper one to make the weight the same. This is a Wharncliffe blade. It has a nice choil here, and it's got a really, really nice aggressive Wharncliffe. Just to give you an idea of how aggressive the Wharncliffe is, this is the Wee Roxy 4, which a lot of people think is an aggressive Wharncliffe to begin with, and this is even more aggressive, as you can see. All right, so let's talk about the good of this. One of the good is the action on this is stellar. Out of this world drop shot, stellar. Lockup is rock solid, no blade rock, nothing up and down, just completely rock solid. The ergonomics on this are surprisingly good for a knife this big, although you do have to understand that, you know, it's quite a large chunk in your hand. It's also very heavy. The jimping on this is fairly good. As you can see, it's very large scalloping in the jimping, and it works pretty well. It doesn't really need to go out as far as it does, but I think it's part of the design, and that's really why they did it. I don't think it's necessarily for people with certain size hands. The pivot hardware is attractive. I like the pivot collar. I think the orange does go well here, although it may turn some people off. That's purely an aesthetic choice. The pocket clip is ugly as hell. A huge drawback on this knife. That being said, this needs a huge honkin' pocket clip in order to, you know, retain this monster in your pants. So I guess that's part of the, you know, hazard of dealing with it. But, you know, just be aware that you're going to have this on the outside of your, whatever you're holding, or whatever, your pants or belt or whatever you're doing with this. So just be aware that this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be a huge honking clip on the outside. It's going to scream to people that you have a knife in your pocket, and, you know, maybe you want that, maybe you don't. The flipper tab is pretty good. It's a little, the jimping on it doesn't help at all, really. You know, but it's large enough that you're able to still get a nice light switch action on it. As far as push button action is good on this as well. So, again, really, really good action. What else can I say about this knife? Like I said, I haven't tried to take it apart yet. It has these, all the hardware on here is, you know, sort of these flathead spanner type hardware. I believe they can all be taken off. I tried using a penny or dime. I can't remember which one I used, but it does turn with those, with just a penny or a dime, so it should work with a flathead screwdriver. And that's a huge plus because it makes it easier to take apart. That being said, I believe the pivot here, this pivot, would probably be more of a spanner bit. I didn't try on the pivot, I just tried on the thumb studs, I think. But the thumb studs are big honking thumb studs. They are functional thumb studs, which is great, but they're big honking thumb studs. I will say that although you can Spidey flick this with your pointer, the natural way to Spidey flick it with your ring finger, this thing is such of a monster, it doesn't really happen. But again, you can use your thumb and you can use your pointer finger to Spidey flick it. It's just not as satisfying to use your pointer as it is to use your middle finger if you're a big Spidey flick fidgeter. All right, what else can I say about this? I think that's pretty much it. The fit and finish on this is decent for 60 bucks. It's not exactly flush. As you can see, there's portions of the fit that's not quite, you know, where you'd want it to be at a premium price tag. And I haven't held one of the $212 ones. I would raise that as a, you know, somewhat of an issue at $212, but at 60 bucks, this is not a problem at all. You don't notice it at all. Really, the only other thing I have to say about it is just this is massively heavy. I mean, you're talking about, well, let's put this in perspective. You're talking about the weight of 2 Shamans and a Manix, and then probably a Bugout. So, I mean, this thing is honkingly heavy. There's no other way to put it. So, just be aware of that. You will not wear this without a belt. Just not happening. Other than that, for 60 bucks, I highly recommend it. I'm actually trading this one because I got an offer on another knife and I needed to get this out without spending any cash. So I'm trading this, but I do plan to buy another one down the road. And one of the reasons I felt comfortable trading this is because I knew that they'd be available. So go out and get yours. This is Triple E EDC. Thank you guys. Oh, one more thing. I still have the giveaway going on. I have a giveaway on my channel thanking Slicey Dicey. Brian, thank you so much for mentioning me in your video and directing a lot of people to the channel. Really appreciate it. Got that good giveaway going on. It's going to end January 8th. So please, please, please go over to that video and check it out. I'm giving away a Spyderco Para, this Para. So go ahead and go over there. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get all of my content. Thanks so much for watching.